This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Police arrest a man accused of supplying gangs with guns and ammunition. A man said to be a major player in the supply of guns and ammunition to criminal gangs has been arrested by the police. The news has been informed that the suspect was nabbed on Wednesday night during a police military operation in Spanish Town, St. Catherine. More than 150 assorted rounds of ammunition were seized during the operation. Deputy Superintendent Linroy Edwards, head of operations for the St. Catherine North Police Division, told the news that the suspect was nabbed during an operation in Taws Meadows. About 50 rounds of ammunition were allegedly found in his possession. The suspect was then taken to his house in Cumberland, Portmore, where the cops reportedly seized the 100 rounds. A woman at the house was also taken into custody. DSP Edwards said the suspect is now the focus of a major investigation. It is believed that he was selling guns and ammunition to gangs in Spanish Town and elsewhere in St. Catherine. UK campaigners lobby against the deportation of 2 Jamaican women. Campaigners in the United Kingdom have claimed that a Home Office is seeking to deport 2 vulnerable women to Jamaica next week, despite neither of them having committed a criminal offense. The campaigners say this indicates a change in the UK government's approach to deportations to Jamaica, with chartered flights in recent years exclusively targeting Jamaicans with criminal convictions. According to the Morning Star newspaper, the women who are being held at an immigration removal center are facing removal on a flight next Wednesday after they were recently refused further leave to remain in the UK. Both are said to have lived in Britain for more than 7 years and have close relatives in the country. One is said to be on suicide watch in detention. Their local MP, Belle Ribeiro Addy, is calling for the flight to be halted, claiming that if it goes ahead, it will be the first of its kind since the Windrush scandal. The Windrush scandal, which broke in 2018, saw British citizens wrongly detained, deported, and denied rights due to the government's hostile environment policies. The 2 women are thought to be the first Jamaicans to be targeted for removal solely due to immigration issues since the scandal. According to campaign group Movement for Justice, Wednesday's flight to Jamaica also seeks to remove men with past convictions, many of whom have lived in Britain since childhood. A Home Office spokesperson said extensive checks have been done to ensure that no British citizens or anyone eligible for the Windrush scheme face removal. 211 Child Abuse Helpline plagued by prank calls. The 211 Child Abuse Helpline, which was launched in September, is reportedly being plagued by prank calls. Robert Morgan, State Minister in the Ministry of Youth, made the disclosure.
But how do you determine what is a prank call from what is a legitimate problem? So we have had to make the decision that we're going to try to answer as many calls as possible. If it is a prank call, we have a process that deals with that. We have trained social workers. We're actually increasing the amount of social workers that we have to ensure that, yes, there are prank calls.
Since the launch of 211, the hotline has received more than 6,000 calls, many of them children who have been abused and adults who have either heard of or seen abuse. Policeman accused of extrajudicial killing in 2009 freed. A member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force who was charged in connection with a 2009 extrajudicial killing in Denham Town, Kingston, was freed on Thursday before the Home Circuit Court. Sergeant Cecil Lawrence was freed after the judge accepted the arguments of his attorney Christopher Townsend. Sergeant Lawrence was charged with the fatal shooting of Andre Beswick in Hannahtown, West Kingston. It was reported that a police team went to the area in search of wanted men and illegal guns. They went to Mr. Beswick's house and arrested him. Prosecutors reported that Mr. Beswick's grandmother and sister were removed from the house by the cops. Mr. Beswick was then shot several times. However, at the trial, Mr. Townsend argued that Mr. Beswick was shot during a confrontation with the police. He argued that Sergeant Lawrence was acting in self-defense and a firearm was seized from Mr. Beswick. The attorney said the Crown's witnesses failed to prove that Mr. Beswick was executed by the cops. The judge agreed and ordered the policeman's release. Opposition senator says he will not support move to shield the government from traffic ticket refunds. An opposition legislator has signaled he will not be supporting the government's move to shield itself from paying possible refunds on traffic tickets following an injunction granted by the Supreme Court on Wednesday. A special sitting of the House of Representatives will be held on Friday to consider and pass the Road Traffic Amendment Validation and Indemnity Act. The bill will then be sent to the Senate later on Friday. But opposition Senator Lambert Brown has said he is tired of the government bringing these types of bills to Parliament.
I don't like these bills. We must get it right. In 2018, we passed the new Road Traffic Act. The minister leading the House said that in 3 months, the bill would be in place. The government has failed to put the bill in place and to put the regulations in support of the bill. And so the public have been charged excess of what the law allows for. Now the government has been caught with their pants down. Instead of refunding the people who have been fined the money that the law did not allow them to fine them, the government is going to pass a law to cover their wrongdoings, to cover their incompetence. They can't get my support on that. To bring a bill that nobody in the parliament have seen, except whoever drafted it, and then to take it through all its stages, it's about rubber stamping. The government needs to step back, discuss with the country why is it that they have not been as competent as they should be, and then make the payment refund to the citizens.
The injunction granted by the Supreme Court has the potential to cost the government more than $3 billion in refunds to the public. This calculation is based on the 15 years which has passed since the Minister of Finance made adjustments to the traffic fines by ministerial order. Justice Sonia Bertram Linton issued the interim order until the claim brought by Maurice Hausen against the Attorney General and the Commissioner of Police is heard. Mr. Hausen has claimed that the increase in fines was unlawful because it did not follow the proper procedure. Witness recorded gang conversations for cops. A former member of the Wandon gang yesterday revealed that he had secretly recorded conversations with alleged leader Andre Blackman Bryan and other key lieutenants and handed them over to the police as they probed the operations of the deadly Klansman gang breakaway. The witness, who said he rose to become a top-tier member of the Wandon gang, was continuing his testimony in the Home Circuit Court yesterday as the trial against Bryan and the 32 other accused gangsters continued. The second ex-member of the gang to testify, the witness said he had used 3 phones, 2 provided by cops and a third by Bryan, to record conversations he had with Bryan, the gang's reputed second-in-command, City Puss, the sole female defendant, Stephanie Christie, and other members. He said the phones were handed over to the cops and the conversations transcribed as he identified the voices on each recording. Throughout the witness's testimony, Bryan appeared very uneasy, shaking different parts of his body and bowing his head at different intervals. For the most part, he was observed shaking his legs, but when the witness spoke about the recordings, the accused began rubbing his hands together and shaking his upper body as if he were cold. The witness, who had previously detailed the 2 murders he had seen the gang carry out, also recounted another 5 incidents in which the gang unleashed a deadly onslaught whose house was set alight after they were killed inside. In the first double execution, the witness said, traveled in 2 groups to an area of Twickenham Park in St. Catherine called the Fisheries. "We go shell down Fisheries," he recalled Bryan saying before they went in search of a man called Bubba Sparks, reportedly a gunslinger in the Klansman gang, reportedly headed by the now incarcerated Tesha Miller. The former top commander said that when they arrived in the community, Brian's alleged bodyguard CJ, defendant Tariq James, kicked open a door to the couple's house, and the woman who was in bed with the man started screaming. Brian then took CJ's weapon and shot the man after speaking with him, the witness recalled. He, however, said that he had not heard what was said. Both were in the bed and the girl was screaming. She was begging for them not to kill her, the court was told. I think she was saying she was not from there or something, but CJ took the gun and shot her same way. Two other cronies, Papa, defendant Joseph McDermott, and Shrek, then lit bottle bombs and threw them inside the board house, the witness added. Before leaving the community, the men had kicked in 2 more doors, but no one was harmed as the occupants were elderly and Brian instructed the men to spare them. According to the witness, his role that day was to carry the bottle bombs while the other men were armed with guns. However, he said that he had indicated his wishes not to go, but Brian told him to relax as he was rolling with him. In the other double murder, the court heard that 2 men from Denhamtown, Kingston, were killed on a basketball court in Rivoli, Spanish Town, St. Catherine. In this incident, the witness said he was not aware of the hit on the men and had stumbled upon his then-colleague cronies beating the men while on his way to visit a female. He said that one of the alleged gangsters asked him to accompany him up the road where he saw the 2 men on their knees being beaten and pleading for their lives. He said that the men were separated, and when they were each told that one was going to die that night, one of the men responded that if they were going to kill his friend, they should kill them both. The other man reportedly asked the gangsters to spare his life and to kill his friend, as his friend had children he could not maintain, adding that he would care for them. The witness said that he asked them to spare the other man, but the killer refused, saying that the man would then call the police. As a result, he left before the men were killed, but he was informed on the following day that they had both been killed. He said that he also aborted his plan to visit the female. In another incident, the witness said that he was present when Brian instructed MAGA man, defendant Ted Prince, to kill a man near a hardware in Spanish Town, and also when Brian had sent Rooster, Brian Morris, and Stenet, Michael Whiteley, to kill a Rastafarian man near Jones Avenue. The former gangster said that he was present when Brian instructed both defendants to kill a bus driver in the Spanish Town bus park and that he had witnessed the murders. The witness will continue his testimony on Monday. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.